This is episode number 15 of the Nourish Life Show. Now, this is a bit of an impromptu episode, as recently I've been on a couple of interviews, so to speak, and this one left the interviewer that blown away. They've given me the media segment in order to share with you guys. So, this one's a bit of a topic that I love speaking about and helping people with, but I also think it's a topic that needs to get out there more, and we need to raise people's awareness more to it. And this is all about your social media hygiene.
This is the Nourish Life Show. Break the mold and live a nourished life with Simon Hall.
So I always think with social media, we've got a huge pro and we've got a huge con. And I usually believe that a lot of people are in different camps when it comes down to social media. I mean, a huge pro is it allows us to access millions of people all over the world. It's put us one connection away from pretty much anyone in the world. And it's allowing people to connect, reach out, who you wouldn't be able to. However, I also believe that social media has a couple of huge cons. And what a lot of people don't realize is that social media, like, this is it for a prime example. Would a lot of the social media companies have people called addicted agents? Well, not necessarily addictive agents. The people who work out how to make technology addictive, or more to the point, if you go into the science of it, how to make technology into a position where it creates dopamine hits. So basically, in human physiology and how we are, dopamine makes us feel good. It gives us a immediate burst of like gratification, X, Y, Z. But these companies are hiring in people to engineer their technology in a way where it creates dopamine hits and we become addicted to it. Which, of course, then is leading to people having fragmented focus. Now, if you can imagine, people, like you see it all the time. People are on the phones. They place the phone down for 10 minutes, and probably in less than that 10 minutes, they pick the phone back up to look again and look for that notification to jump back on social media. And this is what it's actually creating. Now, given that, would you have gone onto social media in the first place knowing that information? A lot of the time when we speak about it is no. Now, another thing that I'm finding is when it comes down to social media and the whole hygiene of it is a lot of people have become... How can we put this? A lot of people have come to a position where they're using social media to kind of look into their own lives. So, for example, you've got to think we've got filters on everything. Everything's perfect. It's shot from a perfect angle. It's the perfect angle of life, isn't it? So that's what social media essentially is. But what it's leading to is a lot of people, and especially the younger generations, and this is where it gets scary, a lot of people are looking into social media and comparing their own life to that perfect filter, so to speak. So we're comparing our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. Now, how can you imagine the damaging effects that's having on us, but to our younger generations who don't necessarily know this, and they're going around this completely unaware? And for me, I think that's where it becomes kind of a dangerous subject, because it's crippling minds and it's also crippling focus. Like, we're now in a position where people struggle to concentrate for less than a minute. And then on top of that, you've got your phone, which is, you've got to remember, social media is engineered as well to hit you with a notification to get you to jump back on. We're being conditioned and trained to go back into our social media. So this is when I always have to speak about social media. These are the things. I always come from it from two places. I think it's an amazing tool, and also it can be quite a positive tool. But I think people need to be really aware of their social media hygiene. We do this with a lot of our clients and members, is if you ask a lot, and the majority of the people who use social media, how do they find social media? Do they leave feeling motivated, inspired, driven, passionate, excited about something? Or is it leaving them in a position where they're feeling guilty, shameful, not good enough, not worth a lot, jealous, angry, upset, bitter? Then this is where we need to become the drivers of that environment, and our social media hygiene needs to be monitored and audited. So a prime little thing that we get people to do is actually go onto the social media and scroll, and if something makes them feel bad, a person makes them feel bad, a page makes them feel bad, upset, distracted than to remove it. Like, we've got these buttons, unfollow buttons, we've got these hide buttons and mute buttons for a reason, and it's for us to go in and audit and, do you know what I mean, clear out our own social media. And I think only when people start doing that, then we can start getting it into a much more healthier position, because you're going to start seeing more of the things that you want to see. I know a lot of our clients and people in our coaching communities and global coaching communities now only follow things that really move them forwards. So we always get people to ask, is this moving me forwards, or is it keeping me stuck or moving me back or making me feel bad? And I think if we can start doing that and asking ourselves more on the regular with what's being forced in front of our thumbs and eyes on a daily basis, we can then create a much more hygienic social media environment. But you got to look at it these companies are smart, and this is what we're not being told. These people who are working within the engineering realms of social media and all this new technology, it's allowing us to pull the lever, and we don't know what we're going to get. So every time we scroll, think of it like being in a casino. And at the end of the day, this is where the majority of these agents have come from, is the casino industry of how to get addicted to these games. So every time we scroll and we go onto a different platform, it's like pulling a lever, only for those gauges to spin around, and we don't really know, and it's the unknown of what we're going to get, what emotion, what feeling are we going to get. And if we don't get what we're after, we'll pull again. And that's the way I see social media. I think that's a phenomenal question. It's got its pros, it's got its cons, but for me, social hygiene is absolutely massive, and I think we have to start creating more awareness of this, and maybe teaching people how to use it. Because I think for our generation, which are being taught about how to use it for benefits and how to use it for business, I think phenomenal. But for example, I was on a plane for 30 or so hours the other day, and I was sat in the airport, and in most uncreepiest way, I was just watching this group. So I was sat there having a coffee, and there was a group speaking, probably about 15, 16-year-olds. They're all on the phone having a conversation. But every single one of them was on the phone, so none of them were really connected with themselves or the people in front of them. And every time one of them put the phone down, within less than a minute, 30 seconds or so, they'd pick the phone back up. So we're leading to false connection with people. We're leading to just crap conversations, because you can't really go into a deep conversation with someone who's on the phone. And I think Simon Sinek summed it up perfectly well. If I was to, say, for example, with this interview, if I was sat here now on my phone, how would that make you feel? We're having a conversation, and I just immediately pull my phone out. That's rude. And it then creates a shortened relationship, doesn't it? So I just think with this whole thing that's going on with social media, phone addiction, lack of connection in people, comparison game, the works, it's one of those, and I think it can be an amazing thing, and it can also be a very detrimental thing. However, unfortunately, it's only us who is in control of taking care of our social hygiene and our social environment. Rambled on a little bit there, didn't I? And that is it. That is the piece on social media, which I desperately wanted to share with you guys and get out there onto a bigger platform. A lot of people always hear me say about the power of your thoughts, the power of your mind game, and that your thoughts directly impact your emotions. Your emotions are energy in motion. Your emotional state dictates your actions. It's your actions which create your habits and behaviors, and more to the point, it's your reality which is created, sculpted by your habits, actions, and behaviors. Now, a lot of the time, we see it all over media that we need to get in control of what's around us and the people that we are around to move ourselves forwards. But there's very little information out there on creating a digital environment to help move you forwards. And again, that's the power of this podcast. I wanted to get that clip and share it with you guys. And hopefully you guys, if you listen to that and you found it powerful, you found it informative, and you feel it can help more people, all I can ask is, please, can you share it within your social media channels, within your stories, and get the message out further. So apart from that, to everyone who's been listening in over the past few months with this podcast, we're now into month 2. I just want to say a big thank you. You've helped us grow this to a level which I never dreamed and thought it would get to. And the amount of lives it's touching is just absolutely remarkable. So apart from that, guys, I hope this message gets out and I hope it helps more people. But apart from that, over and out.
The Nourish Life Show. Your dose of inspiration with Simon Hall. Take a screenshot, tag in @Simon Hall BC and let us know you're listening on socials.